New South Wales Department of Primary Industries, Andrew Colfax, and he's researching drones for his PhD to investigate the use of drones to search for sharks and understand their behaviours. And so what are you looking at exactly in what's your research about?
Hello everybody. So my research is about looking at the effectiveness of drones to be able to detect sharks and alert people in the water of a nearby dangerous shark should there be one. And also better understanding of nearshore movement patterns and behaviour of sharks to better manage the beaches when a dangerous shark is detected, so we know which people need to be evacuated and where danger spots might lie.
So I see that you brought some drones here today. These are the drones that you use obviously in your research?
Yes, these are my toolbox. So we've got the smaller one, which is called the Phantom, and the larger one, which is an M600, and they form very different purposes.
So when you use these drones, is it easy to identify the different species of sharks?
Yeah, so drones provide a great top-down bird's eye view of all the different marine animals in the water. And it's a bit different when we identify things from the air because we're looking straight down. So one good example is looking at the difference between, say, a dolphin and a shark. The dolphin's tails are horizontal, so they swim like that, whereas the shark's, of course, is vertical, so they swim like that. And that becomes very apparent from the air. Also, particularly when it's clear, if you know what to look for, we can look at the different species in sharks. So a white shark, for instance, will have a pointed snout and it'll come down and have big, strong pec fins, and then it'll be thick through the tail, very muscular in frame. A bull shark, on the other hand, it'll have a very big, sort of blunt head, and then it'll taper down to the tail, and then on the top of its tail, or the upper tail section, it'll be a lot longer than, say, a white shark. And then we've got say, a tiger shark. It's big, stocky body with sort of little hooked sort of pectoral fins on the side in comparison. And we all know our lovely hammerhead shark with the big, funny head. That one's really easy to tell the difference.
Awesome. So can you tell us about some of the advantages of using drones for surveillance?
Yep, so once again, we've got that beautiful top-down view of everything into the water. One of the best things, in my opinion, about drones is we can have a system to alert water users of potentially dangerous sharks. So we can have in a shark management strategy something that doesn't harm marine life and has very little environmental impact. So that non-invasiveness is probably one of my major ticks and why I'm supporting drones so much. The other ones are it's fairly cheap to run on a localized scale and very cost effective in that regard.
So what challenges confront the use of drones?
There are a bunch of challenges. One of them is flight time. With the flight time for these ones, this one's a pretty popular drone for shark surveillance at the moment, and the flight time's about 20 minutes.
Right.
The main hardship we face at the moment, when it's beautiful clear skies and the water's nice and clear, we can obviously see right down into the water. But then when it's a bit murky or we've got a lot of sun glitter, it can be really hard to see. And that's what my big bird is all about. It's all about this orange camera. It's a very sophisticated camera. It's a bit hard to explain, but I'm going to try. So a normal camera will mimic what the human eye can see, and human eyes, they can see a range of colours, obviously, and that colour represents a specific sort of frequency of light range, and from a science sort of perspective, it's roughly between 400 nanometers to 1000 nanometer frequency range of light. And what a normal camera does is it gets red, green and blue, and it sort of flattens it down to a two-dimensional image. And of course video is just those two-dimensional images flash past at something like maybe 25 frames per second. What this camera does is it will look at from 400 nanometers up to 1000 nanometers of light, so well beyond what the human eye can see. But rather than taking a two-dimensional image, it will give me an image cube of 220 layers, and each one of those layers represents a very specific frequency of light. So then by looking at each layer, I can then look at, in the different environmental conditions, I can look at which frequencies contrast the image, in our case a shark, from the background the best.
Oh, fantastic.
And then that'll lead on to back to a smaller camera that can be custom made, that then can hopefully detect sharks well beyond what we can currently achieve with normal cameras or the human eye.
Wow. So earlier we were talking about some other challenges, and one obviously is the weather when it's raining and windy, but we're also looking at restrictions with using drones in the sky.
So with the rainy and windy one, we are obviously a bit limited by that, but what we've already found in research trials is that those conditions where we can't operate the drones, there's usually no one in the water anyway, so that's not so much of a limitation in my eye.
Fair enough.
And the other one, yes, airspace. So we're sharing the skies with other aircraft, obviously, so we've got to make sure that all our operations are safe. And so one of those limitations are normal operations are within what we call line of sight, so we've got to be able to see the drone. So at the moment, most of our operations happen over localized spatial scales. But one of the beautiful things about drones is it's so technology orientated that the technology is on a rapid rise, and so as more of these things become available, the drones are getting more sophisticated, and the ability to keep safe flight in the air is leading to longer flight times and increasing the range of drones whilst still maintaining safe flight.
So you're taking us now into the next question I was going to ask, which is the cost effectiveness of drone surveillance, which is great. Do you see this as a realistic tool for shark management too?
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm investing so much research effort into it. It's my time. So it's about, we currently have a platform for shark detection which has proven effectiveness using these guys, and what we can also do is we clip a siren on the back, so if we do see a dangerous shark we can alert people in the water instantaneously. And of course, as we're flying the drones, we have a live video feed going back to the controller where we can see what's in the water in real time. So at the moment, localised spatial scales and Surf Lifesaving, with partnership with the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries, are now using that research across this summer on various beaches up and down the New South Wales coastline.
Oh, fantastic.
So when we're moving on to those larger spatial scales, we're not quite there yet with cost effectiveness, but in the near future, as different safety mechanisms get put on drones and we can get to beyond line of sight, or maybe 25-kilometre stretches of coastline, then we really get into the efficiency.